Okay, so we'll tell the transcriber we're interviewing Steve Kroft. So begin by...
With a K.
Yep. Begin by telling me how you ended up in Vietnam.
Well, it's a long and circuitous story, which I will try and boil down as quickly as I can. I got out of college in 1967. As far as the Vietnam War was concerned, I did not want to go. I thought I could get killed. And I finally got drafted in June of '68. I had a friend who had been a college friend of mine. He had done some service, and he told me what I needed to do was to go and enlist in the Army and pick public information as my field.
So did you end up as a public affairs officer?
That all unveiled exactly it was the way it was supposed to go. I went to Fort Benjamin Harrison after basic at Fort Gordon, and I did a 6-week course in print journalism and an 8-week course in broadcast journalism, all of which I had studied when I was in college. But I learned more at those in those 14 weeks at the Defense Information School, and than I did in any of the journalism schools I've gone to. Mm-hmm. Went back to Fort Gordon, and I was there about almost a year, and then I came down on a Vietnam levy, and I was on my way.
And where to in Vietnam?
To the 25th Infantry Division in Cu Chi. And
Cu Chi is west of Saigon.
Yes, about halfway between Saigon and the border. It's very interesting when you get to be abroad, whether you're in a war or not, particularly if you're in a combat zone, to be in touch or feel like you're in touch with what's going on in the country because you want to go back. And in Vietnam, most of the people, were draftees. They did not necessarily want to be there. So there was a great deal of goodwill towards Stars and Stripes because they made it feel like they were at home.
Everybody knows you as a 60 Minutes correspondent. How did that period of time working for Stars and Stripes shape you? How important was your time?
It was huge. And I knew it was going to be huge because I knew a lot about the history of Stars and Stripes. And I thought, this is a real job. So I knew it was would be important to my career, but I also really wanted the experience of going out and doing it. Because when I was in Cu Chi with the 25th Division, one of my jobs was to go out in the field to escort camera crews and things like that. And I thought these guys were great, I said, that's what I want to do. That's when I realized I wanted to be, hopefully a correspondent overseas for one of the networks eventually. So it was very important. And I knew that I was going to learn a lot about the war and about being a reporter and about surviving in the field. If you go back to a stage in your life where you learned the most, I probably learned the most about doing the job with Stripes, because I was in a difficult situation and covering a war, and I knew that, and I knew the importance of the newspaper. I had a great appreciation for that, and it put me on the road, I knew a lot of stuff. I had, by the time I came and went to work for CBS, I had already been to Vietnam and worked for Stars and Stripes. And there, it had some real impact. I think when I came up for my first interview with CBS, I think that was one of the things that everybody noticed.
This guy's a real reporter.
Yeah. And I'd seen things, and I'd been places, and I'd been shot at, so.
Were there specific lessons you learned working for Stars and Stripes which stood you in good stead later on when you were on 60 Minutes?
Don't believe everything you're told. There's a very famous journalist, independent journalist, who once said, everybody lies.
Governments always lie.
Governments always lies. Z.F. Stone, I think. Governments always lie, and that's true. So you need to believe, and even today, especially today, you really need to exert, that you need to consume your news carefully, and that you can't believe that everything somebody tells you, particularly officials like generals, politicians, policemen, all the areas of authority. It's not going to be really outright lies. It could be fibs. It could be like spin. It could be, but you need to try and find out, do your best to find out what's really going on, and to put some distance between the official line and what you see with your own eyes and what you get from the people that were there.
So, do you think as nostalgic as you can get about Stars and Stripes, do you still think it's a worthy endeavor?
Well, I think it's a worthy endeavor because, in part because I don't think there's anything like it. Look, the command has tried to kill it a bunch of different times, or to defang it, and it's always gotten turned around. But it's so unique, and it's also, look, I think symbolic. I think that what's going on right now is a travesty. I think it's very short-sighted, and I think that this was, and I, look, I'm trying to choose my words carefully, but this is another affront against the First Amendment by the current administration.
Symbolic. What does Stars and Stripes symbolize?
Well, I think it was approved by Congress, as an independent newspaper, funded by the government, and it says a lot about our system. I think it says a lot about the fact that that the military, for a long time, has thought it was important that soldiers have some contact with what's going on in the world.
Does the country still need Stars and Stripes?
I like the idea of people having an independent view to look at that comes from the military, that keeps them grounded in the truth, of what's going on in the country that they're serving. That, I think, is very valuable. I am more opposed to the idea, or I'm more emotional about the idea that somebody says, you've got this now, but we're going to take it away. We want you to get all your information from the command with no outside interference. That's what this whole thing screams to me, and I'm very much opposed to that.